All right, everyone, as you're logging in, just want to welcome you. We'll get started in a few minutes. Welcome, everybody. Gosh, looks like we've got some good attendance rolling in here. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Looks like everybody's getting logged in here, so that's great. So excited to see everyone. Let everybody finish logging in and we'll start right at 2 o'clock Eastern. Perfect. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome everybody. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining. Hello, hello. So nice to see familiar names. Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for logging in and joining. Very cool, awesome. All right, we're gonna get started here in a second. Looks like we've got some folks logged in and launched up here. This is awesome. Very cool. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Rebecca Lombardo and I am joined by Paul Hanak from ICND. Can you say hello, Paul? I'm so excited to have Paul here.
Hey guys, thanks for attending. Thanks for attending.
If you ever joined one of our webinar sessions before, I'm a huge fan of Paul's. It's no secret. So every time you send something out, I'm always liking and commenting. I'm a huge fan of the great content. So I'm very excited about this webinar today. I hope everybody is prepared to talk about post-pandemic anything, right? So are you ready for post-pandemic marketing? Mask on, off. I know we're all kind of in that transition period. You know when Saturday Night Live starts doing skits about something, that it's a thing. So this is a thing.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, if you're not familiar with TruPlace, we offer premium property visuals. So that's photography and virtual tours. We've been doing this for about 17 years. We have about 12 million tour views. So a little bit of experience under our belt in terms of getting views on tours. We also have a partnership with VRBO, so all of our 3D tours pass through to them. And we have a 4.7 star rating on Google. Paul, I'll hand it off to you.
Cool. I'm from InterCoastal Net Designs, ICND for short. We're a web development and marketing company that we specialize in vacation rentals and marketing for vacation rental clients. So been around for 22 years actually, just celebrated, and we are still independently owned, small business, and we have the marketing wing as well as the website development wing. So I'm the marketing director for InterCoastal Net Designs, and I manage the team that goes out and gets the better rankings and the pay-per-click campaigns. So we do SEO, pay-per-click, email marketing, and social media for our clients. And we are actually Google Premier partners for the amount of spend that we do for our clients in Google pay-per-click, as well as the way that we optimize our campaigns. We're in the top 3% of all Google partners. So got to tout about that one for a little bit because that's really cool.
That is really cool. That Google sign off is really important.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we're going to venture into the post-pandemic looking forward phase here. We even made a joke earlier when we were trying to name this presentation something about like Revenge of the Cruise Lines, or the cruise lines are coming for you. So just to get you like kind of in the mindset of, you know, we're coming out of one thing and going into another. So Paul, can you kick us off here with talking about demand?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I mean, even now demand's high and demand's going to remain high. There's kind of this buzz and talk, you know, with vacation rentals being so popular this year. There's a lot of newbies to the vacation rental space that have come from the hotel side. So with that being said, next year we're going to have that we're going to be in that same boat. Now, I don't think 2022 is going to be as good as this year. But we are going to be better than 2019, 2018. And it's just going to be a trend for us. It really kicked our industry in the butt, to be honest with you, which is awesome. So we're going to have to start thinking about how we stay competitive and creating that competitive advantage with our company, or with your company, actually. So when we're talking about going into even now, there are things you can do, and there are also things that you can do post-pandemic as well. But a lot of what we're going to be covering is going to be now. And this is stuff that while you're full, you can work on, or even shift some of it to the fall. But some of it has more priority than the other. A lot of questions that I get: what should I invest in? What should I be doing when I'm still booked? Do I need to even do pay-per-click? What about doing SEO? It seems kind of useless right now, right? Since I'm totally booked. And then what about website updates? What can I do on my website to keep it flowing? And that's the one that a lot of clients do miss the boat, I guess you could say. So we'll get more into that one in a bit. So first bullet point was investing when you're full. So Google My Business. That is a easy and free way that you can update your account and make sure that you have that competitive advantage over your competitors. Have your company or you evaluate your pay-per-click campaigns right now. Should you cut spending? Should you think about allocating more pay-per-click money to next year? Social media stuff. What are you doing right now for social media? You also should spy and investigate on your competition. Obviously, that's something that kind of falls by the wayside, but even getting on their websites, poking around, seeing what you like about their website versus seeing what you don't like. And that'll help you mold what new website changes that you want to make to your business. And then work your email lists, get those cleaned up, get those ready, and we'll go from there. And it's really a matter of prioritizing what fits for you. So this isn't a checklist to do all this. It's a matter of making sure that you do have this stuff done and checked off.
So how far do you go on spying on your competitors? Do you actually sign up for their email newsletters?
Yeah. Yeah, you can easily create a fake account and one that doesn't have your domain name at the end of it, and sign up and see what they get. It's a lot of looking at both the how they're presenting themselves as well. That's something a lot of people miss is go to the about page, go to the property management page on their site, and see how they're presenting themselves as a company. Because people these days, they do like that that competitive kind of like that personal touch, I guess you could say. They've been more accustomed to it, and if you can present that you are a personable company, then that's a good advantage.
Absolutely. And the Google My Business, in case you're not familiar, when you just go to Google and search for your business name, and whatever comes up in that box on the right-hand side, that's referred to as the knowledge box. Mm-hmm. And that's part of your Google My Business account. And if you can Google your competitor's name and see what they have in there, that might give you some idea of possibilities, right, or competitive advantages too, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, there are a lot of brand searches going on. People will find you, and especially, if they come back after a while, they may have found you organically just by searching for, Destin Vacation Rentals, and then they actually remembered your company name, but they don't remember your website. Then they Google the name of your business, and that knowledge panel shows up and gives them a quick glimpse of who you are. So if you've got we had a client that a few weeks ago, actually, that one of their pictures on the knowledge panel was a uploaded picture from a guest, and they were trying so hard, but it was not a good picture. So keeping tabs on that and switching out that stuff is gives the guest a good impression about who you are, especially with Google reviews too.
And it's free, right? Like this is not something you have to pay for.
Exactly. It's completely free. So just make sure you're in there, and I'm doing updates on a regular basis.
Yeah. So speaking of the devil, here we go.
So that's what I mean. It's like you do have to stay active in there. Just log in every couple of weeks and see if there's any new attributes available. See what you can do to update. Google has released a lot of new stuff. I'll get to that in a second, but this Google My Business listing earns you in the map listings. So I'm not talking about the new Google Vacation Rental stuff. That's a totally separate beast. But any of the map listings that come up for certain search terms with stars by them, those are the ones that if you have a good optimized Google My Business, then you have a better chance of being in the local map pack. So another reason to go for it. And respond to all reviews. I always preach that. Every review is important to respond to, even if you respond to the bad ones and say, please contact us privately, and here's our email address, and we'll help you as best we can. Showing that process that you're involved is huge. It's definitely huge. So when you post, usually 80-20 rule. Sorry, I'm getting dry mouth already. That's no good. So when you're doing posts on Google My Business, which has its own social media kind of section too, you do kind of the same deal that you would on Facebook. Post pictures of fun stuff and post pictures of business promotion stuff. So between both of those, you're gonna have a good mix when people actually Google your brand name.
Yeah, many people don't know that Google tried to pull off a social media platform a while back, and it didn't really take. They did leave the opportunity to post just like you would on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere else. So you can do a post on Google. The way to treat those posts, what would you say, Paul? It's more of like, it's like a status update for the company. If you post something that can be evergreen at first, that's probably the best way to dip your toe in the water if you haven't posted there before. But if you do post using that Google My Business application, then Google has obviously preferential treatment towards that content. So it's gonna serve it up.
Right. Right. Exactly. So you may not know about the new attributes that have come out. Especially if you haven't logged in for a while. There's office hours versus service hours, accessibility, women-led, Black-led, and LGBT friendly icons, and then health and safety stuff too. So there's a lot of stuff in there about requiring masks and not requiring masks, and soon enough it's going to shift to something else too. Since the mandate just lifted. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different, I guess you could say, attributes to keep an eye on. And when you max those out and fill those out, then it shows that you're paying attention, and Google kind of likes that. Now, there are some hidden attributes too. These are ones that you really don't have much control over, if any. So I'm a Google guide, and what that means is I've basically reviewed things on Google, taken pictures, and answered questions about the business. And these questions are come in the form of, would you call this a cozy place? Is this a good place for a weekend getaway? So stuff like that is are things that are asked by the community, and people like me that are Google Guides are able to answer those, and they append to your business listing. So they're a bit harder to see, but they are out there. So if you do see those in your profile, then that's where they came from. It's actually a question and answer kind of survey thing that Google uses. Now, some of them don't make sense. Like, would you call this a cozy place when they're talking about your office? So it's just the algorithm not really knowing exactly what it's doing, which is more common than not, to be honest with you, with Google.
I shouldn't be surprised that you're a Google Guide. I am also a Google Guide.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. That's the interesting part. It's like, it's not hard to do. It just takes time. But what's scary to me, I'm going off on a tangent. What's scary to me is kind of the power that we have as Google Guides. You can go in and shut down a business as a Google Guide. If you have a high enough level, you can mark it as closed, and all of a sudden, boom, this business is closed. And then it's up to the manager of that Google My Business to actually go in and say, no, we're not closed. So it takes into account the recommendations even more from high level guides, and even reviews too. If you get a review from a Google Guide and they're a high level guide, that review will stick better than any of the other reviews. So it's just one of those, if you have Google Guides and you know of any, even family members, try to get them to review your business for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to talk about influencers later as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oops.
Oh yeah, Google Guides and Google My Business. I forgot about that one. There's a distinct difference between these two. Now, Google My Business does feed Google Maps. And Google Maps is kind of where all of the plotting is going on with these vacation rentals. So you may see now that there are a lot of vacation rental houses on Google Maps, and you see them in your area and they're being actually put on Google Maps. That doesn't mean they have a Google My Business listing. That means that they have a Google Maps listing. I get into a whole spiel about this. There's about the weird inconsistencies on one of our podcasts, Vacation Rental Ninjas. If you guys want to check it out, definitely recommend it. We're 28 episodes in now, actually. So got a lot of good content on there. So shameless plug, just like I always do for for the Ninjas podcast.
Fantastic. I don't know where you find the time. All right, so let's talk about social media platforms.
Oh yeah. So one of the misconceptions about social media is it's used as a very good promotion tool, and I think people have kind of gotten this notion that if I do social media, I'm going to get bookings, whereas it's not as linear as that. When you're doing any sort of social media, the audience that you're appealing to, you need to trigger an emotion, and emotion is what leads people to book in your area, book with you, book with your company. So that emotion is what you need to work on rather than promoting your specific units or promoting your company. It's the kind of that effect of the billboard effect of getting those likes up by posting things that trigger emotion. And the more people interact, the more that others will see your posts, and the higher engagement you're going to get, and then hopefully you'll get into bookings. So while you have this, well, I say this downtime, but it's not really downtime because everybody's full and worried about housekeeping right now. But while you have this time, I mean, start thinking about a strategy. And Instagram, Pinterest are both getting up there. They are being utilized by vacation rental managers and vacation rental people seeking out vacation rentals. We've seen both of these actually provide bookings again in one of those roundabout ways, but it's definitely viable options. So start going down that path and learn that stuff. If you need any help, just reach out and let us know. And we keep saying videos. Start with videos already. I know it's tough, but using videos on all your social media channels and with YouTube, it's important to really capture who you are by doing videos. And if you can have a brand ambassador, somebody's face on these videos, it's gonna help tenfold compared to you holding the camera in front of your face and just showing a picture of the beach or the mountains. If you can do a selfie style, that has a lot more engagement and a lot more interest. So pick somebody from your company and go out and do some videos.
If you're challenged with that, I bet if you pull up your phone right now and you just went to videos, I bet you have a ton of videos on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're afraid of videos, you've been doing them. It's just a little bit of a mind switch to go from, video for personal use versus video for business use. But like Paul was saying, it's that easy. It's as easy as your personal use. You just switch it over and think of a good business use, but it's still the same level easy to get those created.
Yeah.
I did want to chat real quick with Paul about the audience on Instagram versus the audience on Pinterest.
Yeah.
Some people are like, Pinterest, nobody uses Pinterest anymore. But it's not true. Like, people are still using Pinterest. It's just that the way they use it is obviously very different. The audience that uses Pinterest is very different than the audience uses Instagram, right?
Right, exactly. So Pinterest is actually your prime demographic. Believe it or not, the age group and gender of Pinterest is exactly who does the bookings for vacation rental companies. That's it. There's no more to it. So and you're completely right though. Is Instagram versus Pinterest? It's the way you interact is completely different. If you can do a whole bunch of Pinterest boards, and we've actually been running Pinterest ads lately for clients, and they're working. They're getting bookings. So, one of those key differences though is knowing that audience. Now, Instagrammers, as I call them, they are more the millennial age that are growing up. They're getting there, and they're the ones actually doing the vacations. I was looking at some clients the other day, and I was kind of I was doing a year-over-year comparison of the age groups of who is doing the bookings, and there's been a shift in a few different markets, not all of them, but a few markets in the ages of people that are actually doing these bookings. It used to be between 45 and 55 was kind of the blanket everything. That was always the biggest bookers, where lately I've seen 35 to 45 year olds doing these bookings. So it's interesting that shift is going lower, and people that use Instagram and Pinterest, both of those, they are in the browsing phase. Maybe they're not really, they're not primarily looking to come to your destination. They're looking for inspiration. And they're looking for inspiration on where to go. So you can capture that phase, and then it trickles down to your company if you do it right.
So Paul, I think those 25-year-olds might actually be in lower down the funnel than you might think, because I'm about to release a report from TruPlace about about COVID timeframe and what happened to vacation rental tour reviews. And what we saw is exactly what you're saying. In 2020, the demographic for the first time on TruPlace tours shifted from that 40-something range down to the 25-year-old range and up. Right. So 21 to 23% of people viewing the interactive floor plan tour, which is like, where am I going to sleep inside this house? So that's quite a bit further down the funnel than just looking to get inspired, right? Right. 21 to 23% of them were in that 25 to 34 bracket for the first time ever on virtual tour views.
Right. Nice. Yeah. We can attribute that a lot to how COVID shifted, and people looking and taking these vacations.
So now that you know the age group is going to be a bit more savvy with social media, it might be helpful to jot down a few of these tips so you can connect with them. We think that showing details and unique views, what we refer to as lifestyle shots, really help connect emotionally with the person who's viewing. So it's great to have a picture that shows wall to wall what is contained within a space, because you obviously are going to be there for a week, you want to know the layout. But what you really want is that emotional draw we were talking about, where it's like you can picture yourself there, to get that person from going, well, this is mathematically and functionally correct, but to convert them, it's like that emotional pull, that emotional draw into the room where they start to like daydream about being there. So that's what we mean by these unique views, these Instagram worthy shots. We've seen pictures close up of Keurig coffee makers. You know, people are diehard fans of Keurig, and that's a brand that resonates, you know, with guests in your area. Absolutely, do the money shot of Keurig. If you know you have readers, you know, you're in the Northeast and you have these cozy little fall reading nooks, do a close-up shot of that doesn't capture the whole room. It's just that little nook where that one person wants to spend 7 days. Porch swings, things like that are great, because what people end up doing is pinning them. They will find that photo and they will pin it to Pinterest. They will share it on Instagram. So these are good things to have.
Yeah.
And the influencers, like we were talking about before with those guides, man, they could be your best friend or your worst enemy. So you want to make sure you identify who they are and reach out to them first, engage with them so that, you know, they have that loyalty to your brand. Even if they're just starting to get to know you, it's perfectly fine to start kind of collecting a list of what we call influencers or guides who post content that's very influential that other people will look to and trust and admire. So get those names down, you know, get to know those folks, keep a list of them, you know, keep track of when they post. You can even do promos with them. So you can do a weekend giveaway through your guide or through your influencer, where you ask them to post on their Instagram account that you're giving away a free weekend. You don't have to do it just on your Instagram. That makes them feel like a celebrity. So they would love to do that too. And chances are they have a great audience that doesn't necessarily overlap with yours. So that's great brand exposure as well.
Yeah. Yeah. We recently did a presentation on social media influencers, everything from the Google guides to, you know, getting the big names of the big travel influencers out there. And so we've got a handout if anybody wants it, about how to properly do influencers, and we can send that along to you. It's one of those to where you don't think, you don't really think about it. And when you think of influencer, you're thinking like Kim Kardashian style, but it's really not. It's just you got to find the right people, and you got to work that relationship with your guests, and even finding specific travel influencers that can drop your name whenever they're doing YouTube videos and stuff like that. So.
All right, so it's been a minute since we've talked about updating properties. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, this is one of those. I see this all the time, and it's a painstaking process. But look at your properties, especially their property descriptions, one by one. You know, it's one of those to where you want to make sure that you have everything accurate. And, you know, when something was remodeled, what was this, 2015? It's not remodeled anymore, you know? So it's one of those to where you do have to make sure that you have everything updated. And, you know, use terminology that's prevalent with these days. Do you still have VCRs in your units? Does that matter? Do people still care? You know, it's
now it is historic.
Right? That's perfect. Yeah. So it's looking through those descriptions, and I do see a lot of descriptions as well that talk about the area more than the actual selling and creating that experience of the vacation rental itself. You know, yeah, you can see this example. There's you know, a paragraph and a half of what's actually at the home, and then all the rest of it is about what's in the area. You should really be trying to harp on about what's so great about that specific unit that you can do. And here's a pro tip for you. If you don't want to or have time to look through every single one of these, you can go to Google and type in what I have there. If you take a screenshot, and then what it'll show you is everything that's on your website that says updated in 2015. and then you can change 2015 to 2016, 2017, 2018. So if you do use that terminology in your property descriptions, you can go through real quick and see if there's see if you have any mentions of that out there, and so you can update and keep it relevant.
So if I have more than 50 properties, I mean, I could do this, but what if I get a ton of results? Like, where do I start? Do you suggest I start with the larger properties?
Yeah, I mean, start with the ones that you know. Well, honestly, I would start with the ones that are struggling the most. You know, the ones that always book are the ones that always book, and you know those, and you probably know those by name. So you start with the ones that are struggling because they're struggling for a reason. And if you can try to make that property description better, then go for it, and you know, go down that list. I mean, there's some clients that have 500 properties too. You know, it's just one of those games that you do have to play and work on. Part of the biz.
Yeah, and it's scary to look at 2015 on the screen because it is actually 2021, and I feel like going through the pandemic is what me and my kids refer to as dog years. So, so it's actually like 2027. So just a friendly reminder, like I feel like everybody's been really busy, and we know it's 2021, like on paper, but when you look at these 2015, 2016 dates, think about how long ago, like I have a child that was born in 2014 is now 6. Like it's quite a bit of time, right? It's a full life cycle. So I think we're all a little bit warped from what happened in 2020. So there's a bit of grace here, you know, with getting through these, but just remember 2015 was like 7 years ago. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so all right, so we're going to start with looking at our content, looking at our inventory. Do you have floor plans? Have you updated your photos in the last 3 to 5 years? 3 to 5 years. We're talking 2019. You're like, well, that was just 2019. That was like a second ago. No, we're heading on 3 years now. Sorry. Are they grainy? Do you have amenity photos? All these things are really important because, you know, as Paul will speak to with the technology, right? Technology evolves not just the quality of the photography. So as a camera captures an image, there's certain bits of data, right, that get captured in that, and that data gets relayed to the website and through your PMS. Now, as the years evolve, the technology of your website, the technology of the PMS, that's constantly evolving as well. So if the photography data is now outdated from many versions ago, that technology is not aligning with your website technology, and therefore is not coming through with the brilliant clarity anymore, you know, that it should be. So that's 3 to 5 years sounds, you know, short to do all new updates. So it's not just about getting a new bedspread. It's also about the technology of the equipment that we're using these days and how fast that technology turns over.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good examples out there of that too. I mean, and you're going to show some, like you can, the before and afters of even a there you go, even a photo that was taken 3 years ago. That same exact photo could be taken with a new camera that has different ways of processing the image, and it's going to look 10 times better. I'll let you explain this one though.
Yeah. So on the left here, this is a DIY that it was taken. Of course, the windows are closed, right? So the blinds are closed, which is a no-no to begin with. But the DIY image on the left is, I think, 2017, 2018, and then the image on the right is a professional shot where a professional photographer came in, knew what to do with the room, you know, knew how to capture that light and that best version of that room. So, you know, as folks are looking at where they're going to invest going forward, their post-pandemic marketing, if you think that Marriott and Hilton are going to put DIY photos on their website, not so much. Those are going to be professional photos. So if you want to go mono and mono with folks who are going to come after those guests, you've got to hire a professional photographer. If you're wondering if your photos are up to snuff, TruPlace has a free social media scorecard to anyone out there. If you want us to evaluate for free your website photos of your properties, message us, reply to our emails. We'll be happy to give you a free scorecard. It just kind of has a grade, a star grade to evaluate, how those photos look on that website. So happy to give you a free scorecard from TruPlace if you're looking at these photos and a little nervous right now.
Yeah, that invoking emotion, big difference. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
And then you go a step further and you can do enhancements. So this is great on properties where you've got kind of similar looking houses all next to each other. And you had spoken earlier about like, don't drone on and on about the amenities, which like everybody has access to, but kind of say what your unique differentiator is. So this is something where you can put your best foot forward, your best light on your property with these enhancements, where it just kind of shows a more romantic view of the exact same house. And then we need to send it to people.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you've been around for a while, you probably have a pretty hefty email list. And that it's probably expensive. A lot of programs and email marketing services out there that they charge per email or they charge per list size. So either one, you're paying more money than you probably should. So we've actually helped some clients clean up their lists and trim down everybody that hasn't opened, hasn't engaged, hasn't done anything for the past 2 years with those emails. Once we trimmed down that list, we saw that the percentage of engagements and everything went up as a whole in the account. So we had a higher percentage of people opening, higher percentage of people clicking. So it was, and the numbers, the sheer numbers were still there. So we're talking about 300 versus 300 opens, same exact numbers were there, except we just got rid of the dead weight. There's people that have signed up with their work email address. Then they go to a new job and they sign up with their new work email address. I don't know why people still do that, but they do. So you have all these different versions in there, and only one of them is getting that open. So going through and cleaning this up is going to help, but not only save you money, but also make your numbers look better and make you feel better, because it's all comparative to not really industry standard, but it's comparative to yourself and other companies. As far as what's getting you the best bang for the buck. You can create segments, set up automations. Automations are really cool. Just they're drip campaigns, and any provider like ICND can help you with that, or you can do it yourself if you feel well versed with different services out there. They've made it a lot easier over the years. So automations are, if a client comes to you or a guest comes to you, or a property owner. Let's go the property owner route. If a property owner comes to your property management page and fills out a form, you can then start hitting them with automations. And those automations tell you a little bit more about who you are as a company, each drip that it is, so they don't have to go in and take off a huge chunk of, okay, do I want to invest or do I want to invest with these people? They can have these little bite-sized snacks of info about you guys. And surveys too. We've done surveys in the past, send out to guests and see what they're interested in. And we've gotten some pretty unique responses back as to kind of break the norm of the things that people like to see. And we had one, we about bedroom sizes. And that kind of floored me as well. I mean, a lot of people are interested in 2 bedrooms rather than 3 and 4 bedrooms, depending on the time of year. So, you can send out surveys to your email list and see if they, you can put them in buckets based on that survey of what time of the year they like to come, what they like, what their interests are, and all stuff like that. And this is a process that you can do, over time and just plan for the future.
It's really important too. I just want to underscore this, because if you look at this and it's like, well, this is a little bit of word salad to me. I'm not 100% like familiar with this. Yeah. Don't let that scare you off from addressing it, because to me, if you spend so much time on social media, you spend so much money on your photos, and then you don't address this email situation, what happens is when you send out those emails, they don't get actually delivered, right, to like 100% of your entire email list. So it's like you did all this work, spent all this money, and went through all this effort to send it out, and then if you don't keep this list clean, your email server is like, nah, I sort of trust you, so I'll send it to like a portion of your list, right?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's definitely one of those to where if you do have good engagement and everything, you can, and we've done this too, you know, send out a email to say, hey, we know that we're winding up in your promotions folder. Drag us over to the actual inbox so that you can stay on top of our next big special that's coming out. You know, so pretty much any email that you send now, especially in Gmail, will go to promotions because it is a promotion. But you can train Gmail to filter certain messages in the promotion in the regular inbox. So that was huge.
Yeah, do it now while you're top of mind, man.
Oh yeah, I've got so many emails going on. But yeah, you know, it's breaking it down a little bit more, you know, sending out those whitelist messages, like I just said, and then you can send emails directly to people that rarely engage and then try to get them back. We talked about segmentation a bit, and we also wanted, we can go to the next one, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Talk about segmentation a bit and then setting up the automations. But I get a lot of questions about segmenting and is it worth it? Is it worth putting people in buckets? And is it worth going through all this effort and sending a targeted email?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like, because it takes time, right? You know, you've got to segment the people. You've got to put them in that bucket somehow. You know, so you've got to do the survey. Then you have to see what their engagement is on certain campaigns that you open. My recommendation is, unless you have a list of 100,000 or more, don't worry about segmenting. The spray and pray method does work, but if you start putting people in buckets, let's say you put people in a bucket of they like to come during the spring. What if they get a wild hair and they want to come during the fall and they're not in that your spring list, or they're not on your fall list? So they're not getting the email of you promoting the fall because they're in the spring list. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. And the difference with the money difference between doing all this work and segmenting isn't really there. Now, there are specific use cases that you can you know, use segmenting for based on their interaction on the website. And if you're doing specific, like really hyper specific emails for sending out properties that they were interested in, then it's worth it. But if you don't have the time to worry about segmenting, don't worry about it. Just go through the process and do the spray and pray, and it'll still work. It'll still work. So this was the survey that I was talking about, and seeing what people are interested in. And like I said, it kind of floored me that most of the audience was interested in these lower bedrooms rather than the higher ones. So this is a survey that you can actually take this data and then do that segmenting, or you can craft emails surrounding what people are interested in, whether it's 2 or 3 bedrooms or 6+ bedrooms. Now, doing a bucket of 6+ bedroom people is a good idea if you have a way to automate it or make it easy on yourself. You know, if you can whip these out and have somebody dedicated to emails, then sure, go for it. Definitely recommend honing in on a very niche audience like that, because it will pay off if they do see that they're getting targeted, I say targeted, but if they're getting emails about the things they're interested in. So definitely recommend going that one.
You have to give away something in order to get responses, like a chance to win a $25 gift card. Like, does there have to be a sweetener in there?
Usually whenever you're trying to get new emails, yeah, that's the sweetener that works.
Not for surveys.
Not really. No, we got a good response from the survey. And it's really dependent on your audience. You know, if you have that big audience that's has a lot of people that never open, then no, you're not going to get a good response. But I think that kind of the mentality is, you know, if you present it in a way that you are asking your guests guests and previous guests, what they're interested in. It shows that you care, right? It shows that you're interacting and you want to hear what they have to say. So that increases that engagement. So that's that in itself. If you go after new lists and try to get new emails, then yeah, that's some sort of incentive. Yeah, it usually helps a lot better. But you might be getting a lower quality lead because they just want to enter to win a free vacation, or they want to enter to win a gift card. So you might be going back and forth a bit with your audience that never engages.
Gotcha. All right, let's get back to the spying thing. The spying conversation was a lot of fun.
Yep. So we all know that it's easiest to book. If the barrier to booking needs to be very, very low. It's people have to find the information they want very easily. People have to be able to spend their money and feel good about that process. And whenever you have a good booking engine that answers the question before they have it, then, or after they have it, either way, then you've got a good formula for success. So you're looking at your competitors, spend that time and look at what they're doing and see why they're better. There's always something that they're doing better. Whether you believe it or not is a different story, but everybody has a different way of doing things. And if you don't ask yourself, and if you can ask a family member, or if you can ask somebody that's really not in the industry, which website do you feel more comfortable with, you could be surprised that they might like your competitor's website a bit better. Don't tell them in advance that it's yours, because then they're gonna be pretty not very honest with you. And there are services out there that you can actually hire people to look at your website and versus a competitor and see which is better. But look at your own site as well and do that on your phone. We got 60% of traffic now is in the vacation rental industry is phone based. Everybody's looking on their phone. They're still not booking. Those numbers aren't there yet as far as booking goes, because people still book on their computers. But during their research phase, then they're on their phones and they're looking through your property pictures and looking through and doing searches and save searches and stuff like that. So make sure that you look at your phone, because we're behind the desk all day, right? We're behind our computer all day, and it's hard to pick up your phone to look at your website when it's much easier to look on your computer. But go to where the numbers are. And then look at your local competition, and then of course look at OTA websites. Vrbo, Airbnb, Booking.com. They're bigwigs and they have the money to do that research and figure out what works best. Airbnb is fast. They have a very fast, interactive everything, and everything's quick and easy to access. Can you replicate that? Can you try to speed up your website? So that's just one thing that you have to look for. And they're evolving, they're changing. So change with them, definitely.
Absolutely. All right, are we ready to start thinking about a new website?
I hear the screams right now. No, I can't get in the summer.
I liked it better in the pandemic.
Yeah, and it's tough too, because there's always that mentality of do I need to update? Do I? Everybody loves my website. They think it's great. Well, maybe not. Again, ask some people that are not like your immediate coworkers, and ask people that aren't in the industry.
Is this a real site?
Yeah, it's not a vacation rental website, but it's an actual site. So you gotta turn your bias off and really try to poke holes in your own site and see what's the barriers there.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to advance the slide. I can't look at this anymore.
Yeah. So is your site 2 or more years old? Again, this is there's a lot of features out there that you could be missing out on. And then again, look at it on a phone. Is it lacking that mobile experience? This list down here is all things that we've come up with over the past couple of years. I mean, cart abandonment emails, price alerts, cancellation notifications, text message notifications, property search. That's very quick, very fast and easy. Extend your stay notifications for guests, flexible searching, remind me to books. These are all tools that we've come out with in the past couple of years. And you know what? In the next couple of years, we'll have a whole slew more. And I'm sure same thing with TruPlace. There's always changing and evolving. And, you know, whenever you kind of sit stagnant for a while, as you said, Rebecca, the technology advances and you don't. So even if you don't get a new website, always think about new features that you can add to the site. And that's it's just going to help with the bookings.
Yeah, and the same thing with visuals, right? The staging that was popular a little while ago might not be popular now. People used to put plates, like place settings out on the dining room tables, and during COVID, that became an absolute do not do that anymore in your photos. So definitely think about that. There are new virtual tour options, like we were saying, not just the interactive floor plan tour from TruPlace anymore, but we actually have a completely new 3D product that is proprietary to TruPlace. Nobody else has it, and it loads in zero amount of time. Like it's instant load time. So you don't have to sit there and wait for the 3D tour to load. It's just boom, it's there. Thank you, technology, right? Moving so fast. The image quality and resolution, like we spoke to, before, and then brand impression. It's great that everybody's had experience with new guests who have maybe never stayed with them before. As they go out and spread the word about what a great time they had, new guests could come from that. And when they come visit, are they getting a good brand impression with what they're seeing visually? That can make a huge difference. All right, so
pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click, yep.
Yeah, there's always that should I spend money when I don't need to mentality, and no. The answer is no. But there are certain stipulations you have to worry about. So, consider cutting your budget down if you don't have any availability during the times that people are looking for. So right now for the beach areas, people are looking for January, February, March. Some in the, June, July, and August. Wow. People are looking for June, July, and August right now. There are some looking for the fall, but not really. It's more during these peak times. Well, there's little availability out there. So we've actually recommended to some clients, let's cut down your budget because you don't have anything available. Especially if you're in a competitive area or not a competitive area, because they're going to find you anyway. It's the find you anyway kind of approach. They might go to Airbnb, they might go to Verbo, but if you've only got 5 or 6 units left and they're spread out amongst the summer and you feel confident they're going to get booked, why spend the money, And then high search impression share is a big nerdy term that we use to basically say that if your ads show up a lot, then that means that you're paying a lot of money for these ads, and you might not need to show up as much, because all you need to do is trickle in some more bookings rather than showing up all the time and getting clicks all the time, costing you money. It's all about using Google's algorithms that are getting really advanced for the pay-per-click game to your advantage. Don't cut if you're still trying to fill weeks and days. Not everybody is completely booked. And then I hear it a lot. I can't compete with the OTAs. How am I supposed to do pay-per-click? Well, it doesn't really work that way. Yeah, they have a $10,000 budget for your area, and you have a $1,000 budget for your area. Google is still going to show your ads to people to use that $1,000 budget, and people are still going to click on your ads. Now, the only difference is that they're going to show up more because they're going to have higher search impression share, but people are still going to find you. Just because you don't show up all the time like an OTA is, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't bid anymore. It's just a matter of make sure that you have a company that knows what they're doing, Google Premier Partners, to actually help you hone in on that and really work on getting your maximizing that budget for you. And then do you have competition for your brand name? Now, this is a weird one because there are, if you Google any brand out there that is generic, you're going to have a lot of different, to think about somebody in Ohio, right, searching for something in Myrtle Beach, and they type in your brand name. If your brand name also has 3 other instances along the coast, Google's probably gonna show the one that's closest to where they are. Now, you might have to bid on your brand name in that instance if you know that a lot of your people are coming from Ohio, because it's going to be way down on the list according to Google. So, if you have a generic company name, then bidding on your brand might be a necessary evil in this case.
I was going to make a joke here about the brand names, but I'm not going to leave that one alone.
Yeah, I'm sure we have quite a few.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one, and you can see in the screenshot. I won't go over too much about this, but this just goes to show you the importance of having somebody who knows what they're doing, utilizing your money. Just right here, this is I forgot what exact keyword that they were looking for, but you can see that people clicked on these ads for Best Buy in Myrtle Beach, Big Air Myrtle Beach, Campground in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Bird Palmer. So all of this money added up to money that and people still clicked on these. That's the thing, is like they could be searching for vacation rentals in Myrtle Beach or anything along those lines. But if you have broad match or a weird kind of bidding strategy set up that isn't really honing in on the right keywords, then you're spending money on keywords that people are still gonna click on. I mean, it still surprises me that somebody searches for, vacation rentals in Myrtle Beach or they search for, Best Buy in Myrtle Beach, and your ad comes up and they click on your ad. That just shows it's very unoptimized. So this is under search terms in your Google Analytics. So go to Google Analytics, go to Google Ads, and go to search terms. And it's going to show you everything that people have typed into Google and clicked on your ads and wasted your money.
I'm just going to get a little plug here because I have very strong opinions about this. Having spent like 13 years in digital marketing, this is the thing that you're going to outsource. I'm just telling you. If you have somebody in-house that's whiz bang at it, great, but odds are they're wearing other hats. And this is one of those things where it's like boiling water. You just don't want to take your eyes off of it, right? So Go do your other things. If it were me, I would highly recommend, if there's one thing where you're like, this has got to be someone else doing this, this is that thing. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Definitely. All right. This is my soapbox because I get a lot. SEO is not seasonal. A change that you make to your website may not take effect for 6 months. And I'm serious about that. Usually we see when we are hired to do a company job and start moving the needle, it takes about 3 months for that needle to start moving. And it doesn't mean that we're not working. It means that it takes Google time to come back to your website and judge what you have been doing to that site. And when Google comes to your site, it might only visit 2 or 3 pages at a time, and it might do it once or twice a week. If you have a constantly updating website like a news organization, they're coming every 10 minutes and they're crawling your site. If you don't have any updated content on a regular basis, they're not coming to your website as much. So SEO is not one of those seasonal things that you can just turn off in the summer and then do more in the fall. It's very difficult to keep that strategy in place and going forward. Now, obviously, there are budget times that you have to worry about that, but it's not a seasonal practice to where, okay, I need bookings, I need to start doing some SEO. It's not going to work that way. If we start right now, you're not going to see results till the end of the summer. So it's one of those never stop investing. And when you stop investing, that gives your competition more room to come up and start investing and take that away from you. There's different algorithms, there's different crawlers. There's a mobile crawler versus a desktop crawler. There's a crawler that looks at page speed versus a crawler that looks at the content itself. I mean, there are dozens of Google crawlers that come back and evaluate your site over time, and it's going to take a while. We launched a site 6 days ago, and Google still hasn't crawled the desktop version of this website. They've crawled the mobile version, but they have not crawled the desktop version. That's 6 days, you know, so it just goes to show you that this stuff takes time, and, you know, it's not a seasonal approach. This one's interesting, and this one's something that not a lot of people know about. And
I think we should have charged like $100 for this webinar, because these insider tips are so money.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad about like spilling the beans. So yeah, this one is very, it's a debatable topic, and Google's come out and said that no, this isn't a thing. Representatives from Google but have come out and said, no, this isn't a thing. We don't take this into consideration. But think about this. Okay, you're looking for a new pair of shoes, and you go to the first listing. Let's not worry about the ads that show up and everything at the top. Let's go to organic listings, and you're looking for shoes, and you go to that first listing. No, they don't have what I want. I go to the second, I go back to Google, I go to the second listing. No, it's not what I want. I go back to Google, I look at the third listing, and then I finally go to the fourth listing. Ooh, those are the ones I want. I go and buy, and I close my browser because I'm done. This is called pogo sticking, and Google sees this, and they can see that first result, that second result, and that third result did not satisfy the query that the user typed in. Same thing with vacation rentals. They come to your website and they do not find a unit. They go to that second listing, then they go to that third listing. This is all organic. And then they finally find that fourth one. They book, they close their browser, they're done. That's telling Google that those first three did not satisfy the user. And that user, and then the algorithm says, okay, well, those three might not have as much weight as that fourth one. So I'm going to start ranking that fourth one a little bit better. This is very important right now because of availability. We're seeing search results fluctuate like crazy, daily, weekly, certain markets more prevalent, but it's because of this algorithm based on satisfying the user intent. If the user doesn't find what they're looking for, you're going to the second listing, right? Thus demeriting that first listing.
Our data is just going to back up again what you're saying. Our data is showing that when you have an interactive floor plan tour on your property that shows them the layout, you know, that like virtual tour, people are spending 3 to 10 minutes on our virtual tours. I mean, does that blow your mind? What would you give for 3 to 10 minutes on a page?
Yeah. Excuse me. Especially when the average page view, average time on page is 1 minute 30, 2 minutes.
3 to 10.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Bad reviews suck. We know it. We have to reply to them. We have to deal with them. Now, across the country right now, we're having labor shortages, right? We're having trouble finding people to clean units, clean the condos. So kind of my word of caution to everybody is if you have an after stay survey that goes out, excuse me, and you're sending them directly to Google, and you're worried that you might not be able to clean units, then stop sending them directly to Google for now. It's going to be, you might have the best service out there, but you know, if you're worried about this labor shortage and you're worried about how appropriately cleaning these things, start thinking about like shifting out how you do your after stay surveys. Send them to like an internal survey instead, and don't send them directly to Google. You know, and obviously be honest and prepare for the worst and hope for the best. If you start having people monitor these things.
Yeah, Google Forms is an alternative, right? You can use Google Forms temporarily.
Yeah, exactly, and that's easy to set up and administer. Send them a link to Google Forms.
This is a hot topic.
Yeah. So this one is interesting because I don't know what's going to happen after the summer. I worked internally for a vacation rental company for 9 years, and worked with everything from homeowner acquisition and stuff like that. I was their marketing guy, and so I understand how the homeowner acquisition process goes. And after this year, and with these how you handle this year with being so busy is going to reflect on what the owner thinks of you. So I really think there's going to be some turnover and people looking for other representation. So now's the time to start thinking about those campaigns that you need to do for getting new homeowners for next year. Start thinking about what to do for pay-per-click campaigns, people searching for, Destin, Florida vacation rental managers, property management, stuff like that, and get them to your website. Of course, make sure that rental management page on your site is better than your competition's, and then that's a good way to get some new eyes on that. Do those automated email workflows that I was talking about with drip campaigns. And then homeowner packets, or do you if you still do those, then start thinking about how to update them now. And then even your contact us page might need to be updated, or make sure that you have your address in the footer. Make it easy for people to contact you. Make it easier for property owners to contact you. They might be picking up the phone. And actually giving you a call. Make sure that your phone number, or for your property, if your owner acquisition person has a direct line, then make sure that that's on the property management page. Of course, the visuals. Gotta love the visuals. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, even for those who are in the mindset of like, I don't need to update my property visuals. It's getting booked all the time. Like, okay, but then if you want new properties and they see those old dark photos, do you think they're going to trust you with theirs?
Right.
Not so much.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, this has been fabulous. I forgot to mention at the start that we recorded this. So if you didn't write down every word Paul said, no sweat. You're going to get a link to the recording in an email afterwards, so you can re-listen to everything, all those money insider takeaways. I want to thank Paul so much for his time today. ICND is great to work with, if you cannot tell already. I do have my own question as people start to load up theirs. If you have a question, pop it into that chat box of the Q&A panel. I'll pull up all the questions and start to go through them. If we end up concluding today and you think of a question later, just contact either one of us. We'll be happy to ping back and forth and get your question answered, no matter what it has to do with. But I did have a thing I wanted to point out, knowing what this looks like, from the other side. Can you talk about the timeline of, we just saw the slide of like all those fabulous things about your website, the auto reminders, the check-ins, all these great things where like, yes, my website is old. Yes, I do want those new things, but I'm swamped. I can't even brush my teeth. I'm so busy.
Right.
So what does the timeline look like in terms of like, I thought about a new website, or I thought about upgrades to my current website today. If I reached out to you tomorrow, what does that timeline look like before I open up my laptop one day and boom, there's my new website?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hate to say, but it does depend, but it depends on the structure that you have in place. If it's one of our old sites, the timeline's shorter, but usually depending on the size of the site, you can look at anywhere from 3 to 6 months for a launch for a site start to finish. Always depends on how much interaction that you have, obviously, with us, making changes during the process. But that's kind of the rule of thumb, I guess you could say, for getting a brand new site out of the gate. So which is usually for beach clients, launching in the off season is really the best time, November, early December. So now's the time to start thinking and start pulling that trigger. Unfortunately.
Again, just a friendly reminder that it is 2021. Right. And as you know, before you know it, 6 months out, we could be talking January 2022, right? So yeah. if you see your website traffic spike in January and you see it spike in May, let's just think backwards about that timeline.
Yeah, right. What happened then? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. I know we're kind of a little over time. Again, thank you so much for today. This was fantastic post-pandemic marketing insight. If you do have any questions after we conclude today, just send them to us. We'll take care of getting them answered. If anybody has any questions right now, go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, I will go ahead and wrap up because this has been great. I think we've answered everybody's conceivable questions. Thank you so much.
Yep. Anything else anybody needs, feel free to reach out. We're always here to help.
Awesome. Thank you everyone so much for attending and have a great day.